Hey everyone, this is Christina D, aka Shorter Than the Easel, and this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. So here is my redraw video. I started doing digital art back in 2010, and I remember being so frustrated because that's the thing, I was raised and basically trained in traditional art. So when I first started doing digital art, I was a little iffy on it, but gave it a shot. Hated doing it, but I did it anyway, and years later I've basically come to love digital art. And you may be wondering why I'm narrating this one instead of just putting music over it. Well, this is one of those videos I kind of wanted to do narration for anyway, and I've been meaning to do more narrated videos than just music, because I figure it's more fun to just talk to you guys, and besides, I figure it's a great way for me to exercise my voice. Just exercise the voice, get used to it. Besides, it's a long video, and that would be a lot of tracks to find. So, as you may have noticed from the first picture, it's kinda crap. And I can say that as the person that drew it. It's definitely not the best. It was one of my very first digital drawings. And this is definitely a good way to show that, granted, while I'm still learning new things with digital art, since this is one of those things where I'm completely self-taught, I wanted to show that everyone improves. You can get better. Granted, it takes a while to improve, but it's definitely worth it in the end. Now, let's go back to something I mentioned earlier. I was frustrated when I started this. I hated doing this when I started out because, like I said, at that point, I had been so used to traditional art that my traditional art skills were perfectly fine. I was doing pretty decent portraits for the time. I was pretty much ahead of most of my class, and that's not bragging, that's actually me just saying what my teachers were trying to push me to do. Because my teachers were trying to challenge me, because they could see that I had more potential than I thought I did, even though I knew I was pretty decent at it, because I've been drawing for so many years. But digital art is one of those things I was always more curious about, because for the longest time, I'm gonna admit I was a bit of an idiot. For the longest time, I thought digital art was only restricted to video games. And I thought all of the amazing pictures I saw that looked like real paintings, and granted, some of them were real paintings, but I didn't realize digital painting was really a thing. So I just thought people had really amazing scanners, and I was just like, oh, I gotta get a scanner like that. And when I found out about digital art and that it was more of a thing, I wanted to give it a shot. It's like, keep in mind, 90s kid, I grew up only knowing traditional art. So when I entered the digital art world, I was a complete noob. And like I said, this is one of those things where I'm completely self-taught. With traditional art, it was a combination of self-taught and school-taught. With digital art, I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue where I was going with this. All I knew is that I wanted to make amazing art like what I saw on things like DeviantArt and whatnot. Because at that point, I'd seen such amazing digital paintings that's like I wanted to recreate that, or at least I wanted to make something like that. So when I started digital art, I started with GIMP, the freeware that's basically sort of like Photoshop. And at that point, because I was also sort of trying out photography, I had an idea of how to use GIMP. But I remember I got the cheapest Wacom tablet I could find, which was the Bamboo Fun tablet. And that thing lasted me years. That thing took a lot of it took a lot of wear and tear. Through moves, through me getting so frustrated and me having a heavy hand, because that's something I definitely need to work on. But yeah, no. I started out with the cheapest tablet, and I still kind of went for the cheapest tablet when I sort of upgraded to my Intuos. But yeah, no, I was so frustrated because I think I was expecting myself to be better at it, since like I said, at that point my traditional art skills were pretty decent. So I was expecting my digital art skills to match it, which it definitely didn't, as you could clearly tell from the first picture. So I remember being so frustrated that my skills didn't match at all. I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. This looks like something I would have drawn in middle school. But as frustrated as I was, I kept pushing. So I learned the hard way that taking a break can sometimes be a good thing. Because there were plenty of times where it's just like, I would draw, I would give digital art another shot, and then I would be like, no, I need to step back from this, and I would take a good couple months off. Like, there were times where I took like 2 to 3 months off, and I'd come back and suddenly have improved somehow. It's like the break is what I needed. So taking breaks is a great way to improve, by the way. Just stepping back from everything. It's a great way to clear your mind, to come back to things with a fresh view and a fresh mindset. And I'll probably end this video with advice, but if anything, the main advice I could definitely say for improving, it's not to draw every day. It's to draw as often as you can. And when you start feeling frustrated, and when you start feeling like you can't do this anymore, or you're getting burned out and you can't think of anything else to draw, take a break. Take a step back. Do what you have to. Trust me, it really helps. You can draw every day if you want, but just remember, breaks are your friend. And let's talk about some of the improvements I've clearly made. This part, there's a reason I was saving this for last. Aside from the fact that it's quick to get through this, but oh man. It was hard to work on this without sort of cringing at my own artwork. Because I have clearly improved so much in so many ways. And granted, I know I'm still learning since, like I said, completely self-taught on digital art. And I know I'm definitely not as good as other digital artists, and I bow down to plenty of different artists online. But the first thing I definitely noticed was smoother line work. Smoother line work, oh my god. The correction tool is my best friend. Any art program with a correction tool, automatically my favorite. Because as much as I love detail, and I do love small details, I tend to have a bit of a shaky hand. So the correction tool is definitely my best friend. So the smoother line work is one thing I noticed. And I guess the more obvious one would be the more realistic style. I mean, it's still cartoony, but it definitely doesn't look like I was doing middle school anime drawing anymore. Because like I said, that looks like something I would have drawn in like middle school when I was really, really into anime. I mean, granted, I was still into anime back in 2010, but that was like the tail end of my love for anime. I mean, I still like anime, don't get me wrong, but I definitely wasn't as into it as I was back in middle school. But, yeah, no. I guess I just went with the simplest style I could think of to start off. But, yeah, no, over the years I've gone more realistic, I've gotten more used to it. And actually, And the next thing I want to talk about is the shading. Because, as you can see, my shading has definitely changed. It's definitely improved, and I do have to give 2010 me some credit. I didn't start with black shading. Because that's the thing, when you shade, you want to use variations of the color you're working with. And you want to try pulling in other colors to balance out the picture. So I give myself credit for not starting out with black shading. Because that can completely ruin a picture. It can also make it look really dark and really just... It can almost make things look a little too sharp. I don't know if that makes any sense, but... I mean, even as you can see here, I'm adding in green. And, like, greens from the eyes and the hair to balance things out and to bring that color around the picture. But, yeah, no, the shading's definitely improved. I'm definitely working on getting more dark. Like, I'm still trying to get the darker darks in there without using black. Because even now, that's something I still struggle with, but I'm getting the hang of it. I'm definitely starting to get the hang of it. But I gotta give 2010 me credit for at least attempting shading and highlights when I had no clue what I was doing and I was just trying to emulate what I've seen. Oh man, what else should I talk about? I love how you wrote things down for this too, to prep and be like, oh yeah, totally, I know exactly what I'm doing, but you know, things don't always work out in the... Okay, I have no clue how this audio is gonna sound in the end, so all I see is the Movavi screen and the little spikes on the volume thing. They're freaking out, so I have no clue how this is gonna sound. Probably gonna have to record this like 10 times. But if this actually does end up being a one-take thing, I congratulate myself, because that turned out better than I planned, or originally hoped. But yeah, no. I guess I'm gonna end this with some tips. Draw as often as you can, and breaks are your best friend. It's like drawing as often as you can will definitely help you improve. You don't have to draw every day, but as long as you draw often, you're good. And like I said, if you're feeling burned out or frustrated, it's good to take a step back, take a break for maybe like an hour or even a few minutes. It's however long you feel you need the break. It's like, that is my main advice. But yeah, no, I definitely plan on doing more narrative videos. I definitely want to do more challenges like this, and I do want to do more traditional art videos. And yeah, that's it for now. This is Shorter Than the Easel. Over and out.